Hi everybody, Nathan Ronen, CFA here with another update. Question today is that I've been getting, hey Nathan, I'm taking the November 2023 Level 1 exam, or Nathan, I'm taking the Level 2 exam in November 2023, and I need to do mock exams. What do you recommend I do? Who should I get them from? How many should I do? Any caveats, any things that you recommend? Well, if you'd like to continue listening to this, please press the subscribe button now and the confirmation button and listen to my advice, and also that you can get these updates on a continuous basis as I post them on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. Well, doing mock exams, no doubt about it, very important to passing any of the CFA level exams, Level 1, Level 2, and Level 3. But in November, we're going to focus on Level 1 and Level 2. Okay. My advice to you is be careful whose mock exams you purchase, and don't do too many mock exams from any one prep provider. I would say stick to no more than 2 or 3 exams from the same prep provider. So if a prep provider is selling you 8 exams for $60 and you like that price, understand sometimes low price means low quality, but anyway, and you want to buy them, but I wouldn't do more than 2 or 3 of them. Why? Because you don't want to get into the situation where you're so accustomed to one prep provider's way of asking questions, and then you go to the real exam and the questions are asked in a different way, or the wording is not the same, or the focus is not the same. So at this point, when you're studying for the exam and you're doing mock exams, get mock exams from a variety of sources, from a variety of prep providers, maybe 4 or 5. Do no more than 2 or 3 from any one provider. If there's extra ones, chuck them, okay? And don't get adjusted to any specific prep provider's way of asking questions, because the prep providers do not write the real exam, and all the prep providers, myself included, and all the big bulge names there, they haven't seen the Level 1 real exam since 1997, because that's the last time that the CFA released it to the public, and they have not seen the real Level 2 exam or any real actual exam for Level 2 since 2005. That's a lot of years to be out there in the cold or the dark. We're going to produce questions the way we think they're going to get asked on the exam. We're going to ask questions in a good way or realistic way that you can hopefully finish the exam and learn from it. But you got to understand that when you come to the real exam, the questions are going to probably be asked differently. Item sets are not going to be exactly the same. Formats might be the same. Feeling might be the same, but the actual questions, the way they ask it, the way you have to go about it could be a little bit different, because nobody has a insight into the actual database of questions that the CFA Institute has for each of the different levels exams. So that's a very important point to keep in mind when you are doing mock exams. So the correlation between your scores on the mock exams and the real exam is about 0, okay? And that's not very comforting to know, but it's the truth. So you shouldn't over focus on the scores you're getting on the mock exams, because the prep providers are not writing the real exam. And the people that write the real exam are different from the people that are writing it with the prep providers, or the prep providers writing it themselves. So you got to keep that in mind. There's going to be a 0 correlation. To give you an example, you could probably do 5, 10, 15, 20 mock exams, and they'll all have a question on Level 1, let's say about pensions, and at Level 2 about multinational operations. And then when you go to the real exam, there's no questions on pensions on the Level 1 exam, and there's no multinational operation question on the Level 2 exam. What are you going to do as a Level 1 or Level 2 candidate? Well, there's only 180 questions on Level 1, 88 questions on Level 2. They can't ask everything in the book. So therefore, you're going to think, wow, the prep providers didn't really get it. That's not true. The multinational operations and pensions are a very hot topic, but they don't have to be asked every time. Okay, so prep providers are going to help you to manage your time. I'm going to help you to manage your time so that you finish the exam on time. And I'm also going to help you to see what are your areas of strength and weaknesses, so that you can beef up on your weaknesses just in case they actually ask the same type of question on the real exam. But to try to assume that a prep provider has the actual insight into the true questions on the real exam or can replicate them perfectly is not realistic. So whether you're getting 80% or 20% or 40% on a mock exam, that is not an indication of how you're going to do on the real exam. Okay? And you shouldn't expect the same score on the real exam, and you're never going to see your real score on the real exam. So there's no way to know. But I understand from an ego or from a confidence booster, if you're getting 80s, you're going to be more confident. I get that. Or if you're getting 20s, you're not going to be very confident. But you have to understand that the questions on the real exam are going to be very different. And if the questions on the exam that are actually asked play to your strengths or play to what you studied very well, you'll probably pass. And if they keep asking questions that you didn't study very well, or you're not familiar with, or you didn't know, then that's going to be a different scenario. But you cannot rely and assume that the questions in the mock exams that you get from prep providers, including any that the CFA Institute gives you for free, are going to be the same questions as your real exam. So definitely do mock exams for time management skills and for seeing where your weaknesses are so that you can beef up on them in case they ask that same type of question on the real exam. But ignore your scores. Don't get overly, focused on them. Probably, a lot of comments I've seen from people who have shared them for me from Reddit, they're not true. Oh, I got 80% on the exam. Am I doing good or am I doing bad? Those are just, again, bots or people that are trying to get you all riled up. Don't worry, people do not score usually 80s on the real exam. So that's a lot of nonsense and you should just discount that. But if you want some real solid advice, do mock exams. Prepare yourself from now until your exam date. Don't worry so much about your scores and do the best you can and hope that the questions that they ask you on the level 1 or level 2 exam play to your strengths and that you've studied them well. If you have any other questions about mock exams, please, contact me. You can contact me at chalkandboard.org. That's CHALK and AND, board, BOARD, chalkandboard.org. My phone number there is there as well. You can text me. And again, I would probably select my mock exams, all of them, from major prep providers. We offer 2 very good level 1 mock exams, 3 very good level 2 mock exams that I think you will find very helpful and you'll learn a lot. And many times you might see similar things on the real exam. But again, you gotta choose well and don't necessarily go just by cost. Cost doesn't mean that it's a good exam. You want good exams and you want them to be helpful. ChatGPT type exams or linear questions or exams that don't really replicate the difficulty level of the CFA exam, they're either too easy or too hard, are not the good way to go. If you want to trust some good exams, try mine. I'm sure you'll be very happy. And mix them up and randomize them. And when you do the mock exams, don't do them all from one prep provider before you move on to another prep provider. Randomize them, do one from one prep provider, then a second one from another prep provider, your third one from another provider, and mix them up. That's the best way so that you don't get married to any one prep provider's way of asking questions. That's the hint of the day. Good luck on your November exams and reach out if you have any questions.